Welcome to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, and thefote.com. With your hosts, Diana-mite, Bruce Barker, and Scott Lucky Hudson.
Welcome to tonight's edition of Speed Scene Live. Let's get some cameras fired up. I would be the guy that other guy was just talking about. That being that Bruce Barker guy. And you hear the voice right there of Hot Rod Bob.
Hi, guys.
All right, let's focus that camera up. That's right. See, that face is better than ever as of right now. Hey, you know what? I'm going to bring up line one, Bob, because we got to get this show going. There's so much happening tonight.
Lots tonight. Tons
of guests. Well, we're going to introduce an in-studio guest in just a bit. We've got on-the-phone guests as well. And speaking of on the phone, Lucky Hudson is on the road. And, Lucky, where are you at, man?
Well, Bruce, I'm really not sure where I am. I'm somewhere in Texas. I'm on the way to the Speed Scene Live Nationals. And there's a lot of cows around here.
Could you put the phone up to any of those cows and we could carry on a conversation?
I don't know, but for some reason when I hit the cow area, I got better phone reception. So I pulled over because I've been driving for an hour with zero phone reception. So I was happy to see it. Apparently one of those cows has got an iPad or something, and I'm bouncing my signal off them. But, you know, I'm on my way to the Speed Scene Live Nationals. I'm heading out to Great Bend, Kansas. That's this weekend, and I'm getting there early so I could set up and be ready to go. But there's a lot of stuff going on. 1320 Extreme. They have their Father's Day Bash at MIR June 17th, and I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm going to be down at the Bowling Green NHRA Hot Rod Reunion, racing nostalgia stuff. But if I hadn't already signed up for Bowling Green, I would have drove up to MIR and been at 1320 Extreme.
Man, well, I do understand that. And Lucky, just so you know, we're seeing some footage right now from Bowling Green 2011, and we're starting with a fine-looking Willys gasser.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to talk to some of the geezer gassers tonight. And, Bruce, I think you're going to give away 2 free pairs of M&H tires.
You are correct, sir. And over the last several weeks, people have entered via thefote.com, fastest of all time, thefote, F-O-A-T.com. And while you may be too late for this contest, there are always more. So keep those call letters, as it were, in mind. And by the way, Lucky, you did mention geezer gassers. Chuck is on the line, so we can bring him up whenever we want to.
Well, before we do, I'm going to do a couple of how to get sponsor tips, and I want to tell all the Folk Nation out there that I don't have any internet access. You know, there's plenty of cows, but no 4G cows, so I can't do any crew updates tonight like I usually do. Every week I like to talk to the Foders on the crew updaters. So
you got a lot of methanol.
No crew updates. But Bruce, pull up that M&H Tires website if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah. Give me a second. We'll be on it.
The MNHTires.com has a brand new revamped website, and the reason I'm bringing this up not only is because they got great tires. I've been using them exclusively for years. They work great. They invented the drag slick, but they have a whole new look to their website, and this is going to kind of tie into my how to get sponsor tips. I always tell people, you got to get your name out there. You got to get yourself out there so people notice you. And the people at M&H Tires were so nice to put a picture of my car on their website. Have you found that yet, Bruce?
Yeah, you know what? It does, of course, on the main page, does a sort of a scroll as things go through, and I'm sure we're going to see that Curry Racing Rear Ends Nova, man.
And you're going to see the front end in the air. You're going to see my hand coming off the trans brake button. And if you take a close look at those tires, you're going to see those babies wrinkling up and hooking like crazy.
It's showing it right now.
Oh, that's a fine-looking car, man.
Isn't that a great shot?
Yeah.
And by the way, now that is pre-new paint job, right?
That's correct. That's the old paint job. But what's so great about it is that I can go back to my sponsors and say, hey, check this out. I got a picture of the car on the brand new M&H Tires website, and that's really valuable. That's something that is sponsors like to see. They like to see the impressions. They like to see you getting your name out there, getting your car out there, and getting your sponsor logos. Now, there's another website. The NHRA has a special site for the Heritage Nostalgia Series. And on the NHRA website, they have a section called Team News. So I got some photos. I wrote a little press release. I sent it into the team news, and what do you know? They went ahead and they put it on the website.
Cool.
Nice.
So, Bruce, if you can pull that up and show everybody, a lot of times there's somebody in charge of putting content on websites, and a lot of times they got a lot of stuff, and you can't get on. But if you just keep trying, eventually you'll hit them at a time when maybe they don't have a lot of stuff, and they're thinking, wow, I kind of need something to put on the team news, and the next thing you know, here's Lucky sending a press release, some photos. I wrote it all out, so they don't have to do anything, just pretty much click and paste.
So when you're saying about being diligent, being persistent, and trying to get this material on, that really is a whole lot of it, right?
Exactly. And people want to say, well, how do I get publicity? How do I get sponsored? Well, these are some great tips on how to help you get sponsored. Try to get your photo out there. Talk to people you know, even if it's a friend with a website. Get your photo on their website. Send stuff in. National Dragster does a What's New section once a year. Send it in to them. If you catch them at the right time of the year, they'll put you in the magazine. And a lot of times, you get a lot of rejections or a lot of people ignore you, but you can still get a handful of good publicity opportunities, and that's going to be real helpful on how to get sponsored.
All right, so, and publicity, of course, is such a big thing. By the way, we are taking a look at that website right now, and yes, there is both Curry Racing rear ends Novas.
Both cars looking pretty on the NHRA website, and hey, all the sponsors are liking that because it elevates the publicity. Now, let's go over and talk about the Geezer Gassers that are coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend at Bowling Green. And Bruce, have you got one of the head gassers over there right now?
I do believe. Line 2. Hey, Chuck, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to be there.
Chuck, welcome to Speed Scene Live. I'm going to see you in about a week and a half.
Yeah, just about that. I think we're going to be down maybe a day early to get things started and set up for the move-in of the rest of the geezers. But, yeah, it'll be just about a week.
Now, I saw a really nice write-up in National Dragster in last week's National Dragster magazine where they said you've got more than 20 cars coming out to entertain the spectators and the fans.
Yeah, the 20 was the count initially, and we're dealing with engine gremlins and some other problems that we're hoping for 20. I don't know at this point because we've still got a couple engines in the shop going back together, and there's some other tuning and bug workouts for brand new cars, but we're hoping for 20. That's the goal we're shooting for.
Now you're going to have your car there, though, Chuck, right?
Yeah, my car will be there. It's alive and well after our little escapade at Bakersfield last fall, and the engine man did a stellar job. We've been out a couple of times and made some easy passes, and I hit it one time pretty hard, and it's exceeded my expectations. This car is going to be a handful.
Good. Now, what ET are you shooting for?
Well, the car was originally designed to run in the 9s, but I have to be honest with you, I've done that a couple of times, and this car being a throwback to the 60s gassers, this car is a handful. I don't know that I really want to trust it and myself at my age to run that quick. We'll see how it goes at Bowling Green, but I'm looking for something in the low 10s.
Good.
Well, that car's way up in the air. The front end's up high. I always wonder how those things handle at high speeds.
900 feet, it becomes an exercise in what's going to happen next. And you're right. The amount of air coming up under the front end, and it really come to light when you have a track that runs primarily north and south, because typically at 900 to 1,000 feet, you'll come out from behind the grandstands, and there'll be a crosswind. So now you've got all that air up underneath the car, and now you've got a crosswind to contend with on top of it. So it gets kind of dicey at times. You got to be paying attention.
All right, we're looking at a lot of photographs of you guys at one of the tracks. What car is it that we're looking at for you? What car do you have?
My car is a bright metallic blue 41 Willys coupe, lettered up to somewhat resemble the Stone Woods and Cook car.
Okay.
Gold leaf lettering on the doors and old-timey reproduction decals on the quarter panels.
Okay, well, we'll be looking for that. It hasn't come up yet that I remember. Right now we're looking at Nitro.
The Nightmare.
Or the Nightmare, yeah.
Oh, man. You're right. These things are tall.
There's a lot of great-looking cars. And Chuck, I think that's nice about the fact that you guys aren't so fast is it allows more people with limited budgets and cars that, because it used to be that a 10-second car was a screaming fast car. And so, it's nice to just keep them period correct.
Period correct and safety are the two things that we stress from anyone that's come to us and wants to run with us. First and foremost is the safety. If your car is not quality built and it's not going to pass a tech inspection, then don't even think about coming out. And we have instituted several additional rules over and above what the NHRA mandates, specifically an engine diaper, an oil pan diaper. I had some resistance when we first instituted the rule, but it saved 6 cars. In the time that we've had it instituted as part of our personal rules, it's saved 6 cars.
No, that's worth it right there.
Yeah, and the other thing is
there.
when we go to a track and the tech people and the promoters and the track owners see the diaper, we're in like Flynn. They really appreciate the fact that we're trying to not only save ourselves, but to keep them from having cleanup expense as well as downtime.
So if you save one car or one life, it makes it all worthwhile. And you guys are kind of well known for being a real fun bunch. You guys spend a lot of time having fun. Besides the racing, there's a lot of activities and barbecues and get-togethers. And hey, face it, when somebody wrecks a car, that's just not fun.
No, that's no fun. Foolishness and goofiness in the pit area after the races, and even sometime during the races, we do some crazy things to entertain people. But our thing is to get out, show off the cars, show the folks that are wandering around in the pit area what it used to be, to give them an idea of what used to be going on. Now, granted, we're a little more laid back than the guys from the 60s, but, we're there to have fun. Most all of us that are involved in this thing have been through chasing points or out every week and thrashing like crazy between rounds. And a lot of times that doesn't get to be fun anymore. It loses its attraction. We want to go out, show off the cars, run the cars a little bit, and have a good time doing it with one another as well as with the crowd. The crowd interaction we just finished at Norwalk was just absolutely unbelievable.
Well, you guys were a big hit last year at Bowling Green. I look forward to it again. And Chuck, thanks for calling in. What's that website that people can go to find out more info about your group? www.geezergassers, that's all one word, .com. Chuck, thanks for calling in, and hey, I'll see you at Bowling Green in a weekend or two.
Give me 10 seconds real quick.
All right.
Sure.
All right. On the website, we have introduced our newest addition, our new group photographer. Click onto his banner and go to the Norwalk pictures, as well as some of the other stuff he's done in the past. And I think you'll be impressed. This man knows his stuff about photography, and we're glad to have him.
I hear he does some exceptional work, and a lot of people are talking about the quality of his photos.
His color composition, his way of framing things, just everything about him, it just gives a whole different perspective to pictures of these cars. Now, anybody can shoot a picture of the car going down a track or doing a smoky burnout, but Martin's pictures give it a whole different aspect of what's going on. Take a look. I think you'll like them.
Nice. Well, I look forward to meeting him in person. Is he going to be at Bowling Green?
He will be at Bowling Green. Yes, he will.
Nice. Well, Chuck, thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing the whole group. You guys were a huge hit last year at the Hot Rod Reunion. Of course, you guys towed out to the March meet, and everywhere you go, the fans love you, the crowds love you, your cars, your guys' attitude towards racing, your sportsmanship. It's all stellar, and you're really a great asset to drag racing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you later. Well, Bruce, Bob, I'm going to take off and let you guys finish the show. I got to get back behind the wheel because I'm heading up to Great Bend. I'm heading out for the Speed Scene Live Nationals. They got over $17,000 in cash and prizes they're going to be handing out.
Dang.
And they got 3 different classes. They've got some of the Rocky Mountain Superchargers coming down to put on exhibition runs, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So I got to get back on the road. These cows are starting to look at me like they want to know what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on, huh? Okay.
I'm not quite sure what to say about that.
Yeah.
But, hey, you guys have a great time, and don't forget, 1320 Extreme, Father's Day Bash at MIR, June 17th, and check out the information about the Speed Scene Live Nationals, and come on out and see me there.
I will do. No, I won't do that. But you guys do that and watch it. You go out to Great Bend. I'm not going to stay here. Someone's going to watch the store.
Someone's going to watch
great.
the store.
I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right,
see you, Lucky.
care. Drive safe.
All right, here we are. Bob,
Yeah,
Hot Rod
yeah.
Bob in the studio. By the way, we should, here's a little bit more of the lineup, and you're seeing Diana-Mite on that official poster for the Speed Scene Live Nationals coming up in just a few days.
Yep.
Now, in addition to giving away a couple of pairs of M&H tires tonight,
That's a
Bob.
slick deal.
Nicely done.
I try.
And as well, Brian Layton's going to be on the phone in a while with the Off-Road Report. He's got a special guest. That will be the winner of the Baja 500 from last weekend.
Oh, and that was a heck of a race.
Yeah. So
500 miles off-road. That's a tough one.
I know, man. So we'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. I know as well, Bob. Why don't we get the show started here in the studio, because you've got a special guest as well, right?
We do. We've got one of the past presidents of the Road Kings Car Club, Don Baldessaroni. Now, the Road Kings have been around for 60 years, and some of their members, like TV Tommy Ivo, Tom McCurry, who drove the showboat after Tommy got rid of it, Don the Snake Perdome. 19 record holders at NHRA Racing, plus a couple of 200-mile-an-hour club members at Bonneville. And we've got show winners that have won the Grand National Roadster Show, all in the Road Kings Car Club. Don is a past president, and so am I. Not everyone in the club has been a president, though, because there's over 100 members, and a lot of us, well, never mind. That's another story. But anyway, Don is with us, and Don's going to be talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about a special charity show that the Road Kings have set up for this weekend. It's free. It's free to enter your car. It's free to enter and look at the cars. It's a totally free show. Well, not totally. If you want lunch, you got to buy lunch. You want something to drink, you got to buy something to drink. But it's a charity show. The proceeds going to charity, and it's free at Johnny Carson Park in beautiful downtown Burbank, just next door to NBC Studios, so you never know who from the studios is going to pop in and see the car show. Now, with me right now is Don Baldessaroni. Hi, Don.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
I am doing great. How you been?
Couldn't be better, really.
Okay.
You know, Bob.
No, I don't. I never met him.
Yes.
You forgot Floyd Lippincott.
I did.
You forgot Floyd.
The
Bob
train
Morabas, the freight train. He's been a member of the club since 1957.
He and Don Perdome were initiated the same night.
Tommy Ivo actually
harassed them.
Tommy got Don into the club.
Here's
There's
a shot of Don,
right there,
Don and Tommy as they were going out on Tommy's first national tour.
Yeah.
And Don was his helper. They went out Tommy's Cadillac towing the twin-engine dragster.
How about it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an early shot of Don. I mean, Tommy doesn't look any different. Don's hair's a little bit shorter.
You're right.
Well, that picture was actually taken in front of Tommy's house in Burbank, which he still lives in today.
He still does, yeah.
And it's probably about a mile, maybe a mile from the park where we're going to be having the show this weekend.
Right, and I was lucky enough, I lived around the corner from Tommy, and when he retired, he had the big glass-sided transporter and the dragster in that, and I used to take my kid around the block to see it and try to explain to him who Tommy was. You talk to my kid now, it's like, who?
Yeah. I remember
kids.
we showed a few on one of your Great American Auto Scene reports from a couple of months ago. You had photos of that glass-sided transport. That thing was cool.
And we also had Tommy on back in I think February, March era.
Yeah, thereabouts.
But we had Morabas on, Floyd Lippincott Jr. first. And here's another one of the great cars from Tommy Ivo. This was one of his top fuel cars. Now, you were a drag racing enthusiast back in the day, correct? Don?
Oh, without a question. I mean, she was one of the biggest events of my life, actually. I was with my wife now, which we've been married 45 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Back in, I believe it was 65, we were sitting at Lions Drag Strip.
Right.
We were in the spectators stand, actually it's pit stand, I guess it was.
Yeah.
It was at an angle, and all of a sudden a little Fiat came up.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden the crank went on the ground. Now that's one of the most famous pictures
in all of drag racing.
That's right.
And we've got it. It's coming up in just a moment. Now here's a picture of the car actually making a run. Now he hasn't got the front end on it, but one of the most famous pictures in all of drag racing is Jimmy Miles, who's still an active member of the club, looking down at the ground because he can see the crankshaft still spinning under the car.
Oh, now that is just crazy.
And you'll see that coming up in just a bit. We've got a lot of photos of the early days of the Road Kings. And they were a racing club when they started, weren't they?
Oh, without a question. Well, let's get back to Jimmy for a second.
Okay, let's get back to
remember
Jimmy.
him taking the crank up. They had gloves on and carrying it in front of us as they pushed the Fiat behind it back into the pits. Okay, but yes, definitely. What was the question again, Bob? You know, my age is showing up.
Your
again,
age,
you know?
Now this is a picture. That's a picture of the recreation of the car.
Yeah.
Now that car sold on eBay just a short time ago, and I'm not sure who owns it right now. But that was a recreation. Now this is you may remember this as the car that Tommy Ivo drove, but in this configuration, it was Tom McCurry. Now McCurry was an A fuel or junior fuel champion at the time, and Tommy was moving on to bigger and better things, and his acting career was going strong. So Tom McCurry bought the old Showboat dragster and made the Riviera Vistaliner body for it. It had the Riviera-style front end and a Vista Cruiser, actually station wagon style back end on it. Now that has stayed on the car. It is still on the car today. Of course, Tommy got the car back from McCurry, painted it candy colors and all sorts of things, and he went back on the road with that car once he stopped acting. Now here's another shot of it. This is with Tom McCurry driving it.
That is outrageous.
And you can see the Riviera style front end. This car was a cover car on Hot Rod Magazine and I believe CarCraft. It was just an amazing four-wheel drive, four-engined car.
Yeah. Wow. Now Tommy, I don't remember this, Bob, but Tom actually campaigned the car for 10 years.
Wow.
McCurry?
I mean, that's a long time. Tom McCurry actually campaigned it.
Yeah.
As
it's an exhibition car.
Exhibition car, exactly right.
Now here is the Magic Muffler car again. This is also after it's making an actual run. This was at San Fernando Drag Strip, and it was there was a chain of muffler shops here in Southern California called Magic Muffler. And this was the Magic Muffler car. They had no other sponsorship. Well, it says CT Cranks there, but the major sponsor was Magic Muffler, and all their vehicles, the company vehicles, were all 56 Chevy wagons painted purple and white.
Oh, nice.
And so the Fiat had to be purple as well. And they campaigned this in the fuel altered ranks. And Jimmy Miles was one of the top guys in the fuel altered categories at the time.
Man, and you know what? I know we're going to get to that photo of that Fiat eventually.
We're going to get to it. This is McCurry's car again. This was McCurry's junior fuel car. Full-bodied with flames. And it was rather unique. I mean, it looked so huge, but it was still a short wheelbase dragster for the time.
Wow.
Actually, it was a long wheelbase for the time. It's short by today's standards.
Huh. Yeah, well, today is a whole different
Today's a whole different ballgame in drag racing.
Yeah.
And, even today, the Road Kings have members that are competing. Mm-hmm. We just had the owner of Jazz Products got into the 200 mile an hour club at Bonneville. Of course, his wife got there first.
Very good.
So for the first
for
the first couple of picnics he had to go to, they have a 200 mile an hour club picnic every year.
Yeah.
He had to sit out in the waiting room with the wives because he didn't have the record, so he couldn't go into the meeting.
Wow.
So his wife, they had a Pinto powered speed record car, and he went over 200 and held the record.
How about that? Well, on that note, there's so much more to come, and including Brian Layton, of course, in the Off-Road Report with last weekend's winner, the Baja 500.
Oh, yeah.
And Don's in studio from Burbank Road King. Hot Rod Bob's in studio as well. We're going to be right back. I think I left some teeth over here. We'll check that, too.
Hi, I'm Tommy Ivo. When I'm not busy writing my book, which really took some time to do, I'm watching Speed Scene Live.
The best bracket racing teams from across the country, along with exhibition runs and the Quick 16 Series, are coming to the SRCA drag strip west of Great Bend. This Friday and Saturday, cars and dragsters will burn down the quarter-mile track, reaching speeds of 200 miles per hour. Gates open at 6 Friday and 9 a.m. on Saturday. Admission is $5 Friday and $10 on Saturday. Visit srcadragstrip.com for more information. The SRCA Drag Strip Speed Scene Live Nationals in Great Bend. Be there.
For over half a century, Curry rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Curry lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Curry gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Curry expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Curry's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Curry Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies, and other underside parts like correct link steering systems keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Curry rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at curryenterprises.com. Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV with your hosts, Diana-mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, the Off-Road Report with Bryant Layton, and the Great American Auto Scene with Bob Beck.
Welcome back. It is Speed Scene Live, broadcasting live worldwide at speedscenelive.com. That kind of figures, doesn't it? Thanks so much for joining us in studio. Diana-mite is out tonight on assignment. As you heard earlier tonight, Lucky is on the road. Bob Beck is in studio.
Yes, I am.
And Don, I'm going to see if I can get your name right. Don Baldessaroni.
Just think of that meal from San Francisco.
Wait a second, Mr. Beck.
But he's bald, so it's bald as a Roni.
Bald as a Roni.
Yeah.
That seems like there's an extra syllable there.
Well, usually I say
Italian.
Baldessaroni, but that's okay.
Okay.
They call me a lot of things, you know, and that's...
He can't talk. If we strapped his hands down now, he couldn't talk.
The San Francisco treat.
Yeah. Are you?
I'm going to
really?
take the handcuffs off, though, before I leave.
Well, no, it's only if your parole officer allows you to.
That's a whole different show.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing, yeah.
So anyway, Lucky's on the road, of course, getting ready for the Speed Scene Live Nationals coming up in just a few days. And we're talking about Burbank Road Kings and a whole bunch of other stuff. Brian Layton's due on the phone in just a bit because he's got a special guest as well. So we're covering it all tonight.
We got it.
All right. Hey, back to you, Bob.
All right, the Burbank Road Kings 60th anniversary. The club's been around since 1952, and it was a drag racing club. You had to be racing. You had to have a race car to get into the club. Now, that's morphed into a more of a street riding club, but there are still people that race, as we said, the guys from Jazz Products. And what's Jazz Products guy's name? We got so many members, I forget.
Yeah, Wade Zimmerman.
Wade Zimmerman from Jazz Products. Mm-hmm. He makes products for racers. He is a racer. And again, here's Tommy Ivo's car, and that looks like the old track at Bakersfield.
All right, and we're seeing it. Yeah, it's better sized now. We can get a closer look at some of these cars, and yes, I promise the Fiat and the crankshaft
coming out. It's been an awarded photograph. It was documented by NHRA as being the most notable drag racing photograph around. Now we're going back to some of the ones that we saw with. Here's Tommy Ivo and Perdome. Here's the drag strip start of cars. Now there was a club car at one point in time, a club drag racer.
Hey, Bob, by the way, on our T-shirt this year, we have the club car.
Yes.
We have Jimmy Miles in his Black Magic car.
Okay.
And we have Don Perdome's Mattel Hot Wheels car on our T-shirt.
Nice. Yeah.
Limited edition.
That's good, and we'll be able to get that at the show. That's going to be at the Johnny Carson Park.
I was going to ask.
Beautiful downtown Burbank. Actually, not downtown Burbank.
400 South.
400 South Bob Hope Drive. It's right across the street from NBC, hidden in the back between the freeway and the hospital.
NBC.
That's right by NBC.
Have you guys ever had, I know it's the wrong time of day and time because normally he's just there during the week, but has Jay Leno ever?
All the time. He normally makes an appearance. We never know what he's going to drive in. Now, one year he brought in his Blastoline Special, which is the hot rod powered by a tank engine. It was right after he got it, and he wasn't totally familiar with it. it high-centered coming up the driveway.
Is that right?
And he got stuck there for a while until we got him off that section. Here's a good shot of the old San Gabriel strip. You know, there used to be 12 or 13 drag strips in the Southern California area, and most of the Road Kings drove them all the time. Now, we talked about Bob Moravas and the freight train. Bob is the current record holder. After they disbanded the Top Gas class, Bob held and still holds the record for a Top Gas car at over 200 miles an hour. He drove the freight train, later the Pulsator. He also drove the club car. Now, here's another shot of Tommy Ivo, and I believe that's McCurry standing right alongside him during one of their tours. This was early on. If you look at the background there, you can see some of the older cars. Those were brand new at the time, and I think that's about a 62 Plymouth. In the left of Tommy sitting on the trailer. Now, this is not an indication they were broke down on the side of the road, but it was one of those stops where they would sit there and talk. Now, here's another shot of Ivo in the early car. And
whose Cadillac is that, by the way?
Yeah, it's got to be Tommy's. I mean, who else drove a Cadillac? Nobody else in the club had the money to afford a Cadillac back then. But Tommy had Buicks and Cadillacs back in the day, and he tried to get into the club initially with a Buick little coupe. It wasn't fast enough, and no one in the club thought it was a race car. So he went out and built that famous T-bucket that you see in a lot of shots of Tommy Ivo, and that car in street trim ran 11-second ETs. Then there's a shot coming up a little bit later on with Ron Rayburn, one of our members, standing on the tire of Ivo's car. Now, this is a photograph of some of the members' cars today. And you see the Magic Muffler car on the back. Don, your 55 Chevy with the flames is sitting there. We've got a few other cars in that shot.
There's your Maverick
There's my
right
Maverick
there.
Up on the top there.
Oh, isn't that somebody else's Maverick
It's
now?
someone else's Maverick now, yeah. And one of the original Road King jackets, the club colors at that time early days were red. Now, there's the plaque. And there's Dougie Ozine. Now, Dougie Ozine still has the original rocket muffler race car.
Sure, I've seen that around.
And he brings it up to Bakersfield. It takes it out twice a year. Bakersfield, the Hot Rod Reunion, and the March Meet. And that car runs high 13s, I think, high to mid 13s. Richard Johnson, Fiasco Automotive, another club member that unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, used to be the super tuner on this car, and little 327 gets that thing down into low ETs. Now, here's some of the original members. This is a shot taken at her 50th anniversary. You got Don Perdome over there on the far right, Tommy Ivo in the middle with Skip Torkelson standing next to him, then Tom McCurry, and there's Don the Beachcomber there, Bob Moravas, Kenny Safford drove the Mr. Rooms car. Jimmy Miles there. He's one over from Perdome. And these are some of the original members from the 1950s when this club started.
How about that? Man, that's some history right there.
They were all racers. They were all hardcore racers.
Wow, what do you know?
And
hey, you know what, Bob and Don? We have on the line Bryant Layton. It's time for the Off-Road Report. Bryant, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great, Brian. How about yourself?
Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited after a great weekend. I didn't make it down to Baja this weekend, but there was a great weekend of racing.
That's probably why.
Last week I talked a little bit about Robbie Gordon's big announcement he was making after the show.
Yeah.
And to go a little bit on that, he is actually bringing back stadium racing.
Really?
Stadium racing, like back in the Mickey Thompson days, is coming back. Robbie Gordon announced it last Tuesday night. I talked to Robbie right before he went down to Baja. We are going to have Robbie on the show again. It'll be within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and he's going to talk more about it. So we're really excited that he's bringing off-road, stadium racing back, and can't wait to get him on the show in the next couple of weeks and talk more about it.
Now, he introduced that at the L.A., here in L.A., right, at the Coliseum.
Exactly, yeah. He was out at the Coliseum, and something's going to change a little bit about what he's doing now. Is, back in the day, Mickey Thompson, they had trucks, and they had buggies, and they had a couple different cars. Like Jimmy Johnson used to actually drive the Nature's Recipe little, tiny car. I forgot what it's called. It's kind of like a Redline Revolt or a Honda Pilot or, those little cars,
Yeah.
But he's actually going to have monster trucks out there that are going to be during it. They're going to have a brand new spec truck. It's called a Robbie Gordon Stadium Super Truck.
Okay.
It's a 600 horsepower LS1 base truck.
Oh.
And what's crazy about it is it's a ride and drive.
Really?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Rent-a-racer.
Yeah, they exactly. You bring your helmet and your suit, you show up and you race it. Oh. So it's going to be really interesting. I want to I want the fans of Speed Team Live to know we're going to get Robbie back on the show. We had him a couple weeks ago. We're going to have him back on and talk about this in the next couple weeks. So I don't want to get too into it tonight.
Okay.
I do want to talk to you tonight. I believe we have Jason Coleman on the line right now. If we can bring him on.
Yeah, Jason, you're on the air on line 1. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
We're doing great. How about yourself? You rested from the weekend?
You know what? I went and got a massage last night, so I'm feeling good.
All right.
Nice. See, I should have done that.
For all the fans out there that don't know what you did last weekend, tell us a little bit about your trip down in Baja.
Well, we went down to the Baja 500. It was our first time as Coleman Motorsports going to Baja, and we went and we conquered Baja and won the Baja 500. So, I couldn't ask for a better weekend down in Mexico, that's for sure.
Now, what kind of vehicle did you drive?
I'm driving a Class 1 1600, which is a limited two-seat vehicle, has a 1600cc Volkswagen powered with a bus box transmission.
That's cool.
It's definitely one of the tougher challenges of classes. I don't have the horsepower that the other guys do to just power through things, so it's definitely a challenge. Anything's a challenge at Baja, but it just with the limited suspension and motor and things, it just makes it even tougher.
I think those are the cars we're showing on screen right now, as a matter of fact, the two-seat buggies.
Yep.
That's actually footage of Jason racing. I believe it's the Snore Battle at Prim and your highlight reel, I believe. Is that correct, Jason?
Yeah, that looks like our stuff from the Battle Prim race. We did pretty good there, but it definitely doesn't come close to a Baja 500 win, I can tell you that much.
Oh, wow. That's almost like the Indianapolis of off-road racing.
I would say it's one of the top
the Baja
1000.
Yeah,
I would say it's definitely one of the top 2, so it's pretty cool.
Now, Jason, you said this is the first time you raced the 500. What did you think of it?
It was great. I definitely have a lot of experience racing in Mexico as a navigator and things. But as the first time driving, it was great. I really didn't know what to expect as far as some of the competitors. I've never raced against some of these guys. There's definitely a lot of tough guys in that class. We had a pretty good field show up, about 19 cars. So it's been slim the last few years. So it was nice to see a pretty good sized field. But it was great. I had a blast, and my brother-in-law, C.J. Hutchins, drove with me and just did an awesome job. And, we came home with the win, so I definitely am stoked with the way the team performed. The car was flawless. It was a great weekend.
Well, man, Jason, that is amazing. Yeah. Hey, you know what? This being your first time out at the Baja 500, was there anything, obviously you're a veteran at the sport in general, but was there anything that you completely didn't expect that happened to you?
To be honest, I couldn't really say that there was anything that I guess the unexpected was that I expected to have more problems as far as bottlenecks and traffic, slower traffic in front of us, and I honestly had probably the best run I could ever on the start. I got out first car on the road within the first 40 miles, and I really didn't have any problems encountering any other vehicles stuck on the course or anything, and that's usually unheard of in Mexico. So
very
for that matter, it was a great day.
Well, that's
now,
good.
Your first time driving, though, down in Baja, what was it like when you start and you're ripping through town?
It's great. I just can't explain how many people you come across on the first 30, 40 miles. I mean, just going up the wash right off the start, there's just thousands and thousands of people lined. It's an incredible feeling to take the start, shake Sal's hand, and to go off the line like that is just awesome. And it was just a great experience. I mean, I'm definitely hooked, and I can't wait to go back. I'm trying to find a ride for the 1,000. Hopefully I can hook up with somebody for that, and then hopefully we'll be back as Coleman Motorsports the 500 next year.
Now, are you going to do more of the races with Bryant up in at the Prim area?
Yeah, our next race, we're heading up to the Dusty Times 250 in Caliente, trying to run the rest of the Snore points, get another championship there. We're leading the points in that series right now.
Caliente, talk a little bit about Caliente. Snore puts on a great event up there. Caliente, for anybody that doesn't know, is up in Nevada. It is probably the most beautiful track that I've ever raced.
It is.
Would you agree, Jason?
Oh, definitely. And the trees, it's I'd say it's some of the closest racing in the States that we can kind of have to a Baja-style event with the roads and the trees and things.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot of fun. So
I raced there 2 years ago and with Kerry Jones, and when I still owned the Jeep before Kerry bought it from me, and man, he rolled it right before I got in. And,
well, at least he waited.
We did the whole thing with no front shocks.
Jeez, man!
Oh, wow.
It was back when I had just the coils in it, and it was I was still doing 70 miles an hour down the graded roads, and then the Jeep was pretty fast. So,
yeah. No,
but
that's a
it's
great
so
track and a great
beautiful
time.
up there. Yeah, you're passing when you go pre-run. My girlfriend drove her truck. She drives every day. She went pre-running, so, and her truck. I mean, it's just so beautiful. I mean, we've talked about taking a vacation up there.
Yeah, it is a neat little town, and they love to have us there. And I mean, we're a huge economic impact to that town. It's a great experience for everyone, racers and non-racers.
Yeah, I highly suggest if you haven't been up to Caliente, go up, watch the Star race. What's the date on that race?
June 23rd, Saturday, June 23rd. And they do a cool thing on Friday for all the kids, the surrounding areas and stuff. They bring them in, and we do a signing with hero cards and pictures and stickers and stuff. So, we definitely give back to the community when we're up there when we can, too.
Good.
Yeah, like Jason was just talking about, like the school on Friday. On Friday morning before Tech, the school is actually basically has a holiday. And you bring your race car to the school, and I think the school is like kindergarten through 12th grade. It's a very small town. And the kids actually make you breakfast.
How about that?
I forgot about that.
Ask
That's
for
true.
donation. Yeah, they do a pancake breakfast, ask for a donation. That's it. And the kids are just, the whole town basically is there for the racers.
Wow.
And the fans and the support and everything like that. And, Snore does a great job up there. I can't wait. I'm not going to make this race because we got the HDRA race a weekend after. So we're going to be going to that one up in Reno. But I'm really excited, to go up to Caliente again soon.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Jason, you won the championship last year. Isn't that correct in Snore?
We missed it by 50 points last year. We had won the year before.
Right.
We had gotten kind of a goofy penalty at the Mint 400 last year, which put us back from, we would have finished, we would have been first, but we had some issues, and then we would have ended up finishing third, and they gave us a penalty, which I think is what docked us enough to get to miss the championship. So, but we're going for a second this year, and hopefully we can have some better results.
Now, who's sponsoring Coleman Motorsports this year?
We've got Golden Construction, Wix Racing Motors, LAT Racing Oil, King Shocks helps us out a bunch. We had Universal Metro Flooring come on for the Baja 500, which was a huge help. HB Ultimate Training Center, Scott Shoptails, F&L Fuel, Simpson Racing Suits, and of course Mackenzie's is always helping us out tons. We've got a lot of great guys behind us.
That's good.
Hey, you mentioned King Shocks. Are you doing the testing and everything with King also? And
we haven't really done anything development-wise with them, but we've been talking lately about kind of trying to improve our car, and so they're always helpful to do anything that you want or that you need to make your cars work better and go faster. So they've always been great to us.
Yeah, I with my regular day job out at Toys for Trucks, I'm on the phone with King probably once a day with Elliot, ordering some stuff for customers. They have a great product. Check them out at kingshocks.com. Great product. They actually make OEM replacement shocks, too, for all you drag racers that are driving cross-country in your trucks and you want a little bit better ride. King Shocks is definitely a good place to look into to get them. Jason, now you talked about a little bit about the 1,000. You're looking for a ride. You guys aren't going to do it in your car?
No, we're going to finish the Snore season for the championship, and then I kind of got a couple offers this weekend. So we'll see where that goes, but I definitely would like to be back in Baja. We'd picked up a Lumacraft pre-runner last year, kind of with the intention to go to the 1,000, and nothing really came to fruition. So I figured, hey, let's go do our own deal at the 500, and it worked out. And hopefully this helps bump the resume up to get some offers to drive. So we'll see how it goes.
How far did you drive? Did you go to the Borrego pit, or did you go farther?
I did to San Mateus. So I did the first 230 miles. And that last probably 30 miles is some of the nastiest stuff I think all Baja has to throw at you. Wow. It's just 4, 5 foot, 6 foot squared holes for 30 miles, and it is brutal. I don't care what you're racing in.
Jeez, man.
And what's funny is when you're about to get out of the car and, people think, 30 miles, you're doing a 500-mile race, that's not bad. It's, you know what, I've been in races where it's like the last 2 miles of it, you're sitting there going, this isn't right. I want to get out of this thing. I need to get out.
I've heard a lot about
tell
that.
Tell us a little bit about what you were thinking and your co-driver was thinking when you were going through that last 30.
I was thinking my co-writer probably thinks I hate him because it was brutal. And I mean, being that to back up and kind of give a little rundown on the races, I started 5th, and I was first car on the road in 40 miles, and then I led all the way to the summit, which was mile 100, and I got a flat. And it was actually ended up being a stick went in the tire, not a rock, which I thought I made a mistake. So I had to go 60 miles to my next pit before I could get that changed and get a spare tire on the rack. So I had to go really slow over the summit. So I lost a good 10 minutes, and the field had caught up to me. So I was cruising, finally got the tires and started passing everybody. And I think by the time I was at Borrego, I was third car on the road, and I was down about 10 minutes from the physical leader at the time. And I had to put another minute and a half on him to actually beat him.
Wow.
So I pushed pretty hard through that stuff, probably harder than everybody else. I made up a little bit of time going through that. So I was trying to just, drive the wheels off the car. I was, we needed to do everything we could to make up that time, assuming that they were still going to have a good, clean run to the finish. So I was pushing hard, and it was brutal. I can't explain to you how rough one of these cars can be in that kind of environment. It's a jarring experience, to say the least. So it was tough, but I pushed hard and just was, knowing that you're going to get out pretty fast definitely helps you get through it. So, but the King shocks worked great and held up and kept us going. So, it was a good day.
You were talking about the summit. You didn't have a spare tire. The summit is what a lot of guys that race Baja, they dread with a passion. The summit is, you go the first 100 miles, and it's not that bad. It's graded roads, but the problem is you're in a lot of dust. You get to the summit, and I can't remember the actual elevation change that you go through, but it's extremely big with huge rocks. And, you're driving a 1600 car. Are you mostly in first gear and, maybe a little bit of second going up that?
Yeah, it's about first, second gear. It's a 4,500-foot elevation change, I think it is. Wow. And it's stuff that you'd see in Jeep crawling. You're literally just crawling boulders. And it's definitely an interesting experience. That was the second time I went over it at the 1,000 this year for the first time. And the going up is the easy part. It's going down when you're literally crawling straight down and you're on a 60-degree incline. Crawling over boulders is what's the hair-raising experience, I think.
It's funny, as being a navigator and a driver that's done the summit both ways, it's funny is after you do the summit and then you get down into that lake bed, being a navigator, the lake bed is the part I don't like, because you're completely wide open for how many miles?
It's probably a good 8 miles across that lake bed at least.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's as fast as you can go, but if you're behind somebody and there's not a tailwind or not a wind at all, you're sitting there going through dust, and I've been going through that dust at 120 miles an hour, where you're just sitting there looking at the GPS, telling the driver straight, a little bit left,
The crazy thing about that, too, is there's oncoming traffic. At least I experience oncoming traffic that are kind of driving, trying to go find a new spot to watch from or something, or there'll be families set up on the side of the dry lake that just sitting there watching, and, you come out of that dust, and all of a sudden there's a car in front of you. It's definitely scary. Baja is a crazy experience all around.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now, Jason, when are we going to see you in a truck?
Man, I'm trying. I would love to get a ride with somebody in the truck. I actually was fortunate. I'm teamed up with Luke McMillan this year for a couple races. We're running his car in Caliente in a couple weeks, and I got to drive their trophy truck a couple weeks ago, which was a really awesome experience. It's something I've been dreaming about doing for a long time. So, if I can try and find a ride to get in a trophy truck or a Class 1 or something, we'll see. Even a Class 6, Class 7, I don't know. Some of these guys have got some pretty nice trucks coming out these days. So if the opportunity arises, I'll be there. But who knows?
We need to find an event we can get you out and get you behind the wheel of the Jeep.
For sure. I'm down to race any day I can.
And so it begins. Hey, you know what, Jason? Congrats on the win, man. We're running short on time. And Bryant, man, great to talk to you again, as always, on the Off-Road Report.
Hey, you know what? Appreciate it. We're going to be out testing this weekend out in Barstow for binge racing, getting ready. The Jeep is actually prepped already, which never happens with us. So we were doing shock tuning this Sunday out in Barstow. We're really excited about it. We're going to do about 200 miles of testing is the plan on this Sunday, followed by I'm actually going to get the Jeep back at my house and do the final prep on it afterwards and get ready to go to the HDRA race in Reno right after 4th of July. And we're going to have Robbie on the next couple of weeks, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for everything.
Beautiful. And, hey, Jason, again, congrats, and we'll hopefully see you at the 1,000.
Right on. Thanks, guys. If everyone could follow us on Facebook and Twitter, it would be awesome.
Thanks
a plan.
Well, we put it up there for you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Bryant. Thanks, Jason. Hey, back to the show as well. And Hot Rod Bob is in studio. Yes. I'm Bruce Barker, and as well, Don. Oh man, Don, I'm gonna spoil it for all of us by saying your name wrong.
Try it again. Come on.
Okay, let's see. Baldassaroni.
Baldassaroni.
Baldassaroni. I got to get that extra syllable in there.
You got to get it. You got to do it. You know, it's the way it's supposed to be.
Baldassaroni.
That's the one. Yes.
Look at the name and pronounce it. Easy.
Just think of a pizza.
See, I think I missed a letter. I must have missed a letter.
It's B-A-L-D, bald, A-S.
A-S, A-R-O-N-I.
Okay.
Roni.
Okay.
Baldassaroni.
See, it's...
But you know, guys, to tell you the truth, my dad came back. Actually, they changed the name as they came out from Chicago.
Chicago?
Originally, yeah. And they dropped one S in the middle of the name.
They dropped it? Oh. You dropped your S.
That's it.
Oh, gosh.
I hate when that happens.
All right, we're talking about the Road Kings Car Show. I'm Bob Beck. You've got gas here on Speed Seed and the Road Kings 60th Anniversary Car Show this Sunday at Johnny Carson Park. Sunday! And it's 60 years of riding and racing. It started out as a racing club. Don and I have been you've been a member longer than I have. This is Bob Morabas you see on screen right now. He drove the freight train. Tommy Ivo, you know him from both racing and TV. We've got the great Tony Nancy there, Harry Hibbler, and I forgot who the third person is. I wrote it down and I forgot.
Don Gady.
No, Prieto. Don Prieto.
Yeah, that's it.
So you got Tony Nancy over on the right side. There's Tom McCurry, the late, great Tom McCurry. Guy. And as you saw, Tony Nancy, this is from the 50th anniversary of the Road Kings. Now, they had their anniversary. It was so big, it took up all of the Peterson Museum. Don the Beachcomber there. Kind of, looks like one of the guys from Jan and Dean today. I don't understand.
He does. Yeah, or the Beach Boys, one of the two.
This is Jimmy Miles today. Hopefully we're going to get to that photo eventually of him dropping the crankshaft. But Jimmy Miles in his, I don't know where he is, but he's probably close to this 80 years old. Here's the Road Kings logo for their 60th anniversary.
That's pretty stylish.
And, I've got the hat on, the official hat of the show, and we're going to be, they're going to be selling those. And again, the proceeds going to charity this weekend. It's a free show. You get in there. There's Don. There you are about 50 pounds ago.
And I don't have any gray.
No, whoa. I didn't scare you enough by that. That's the 50th anniversary, and that was the crowd at the Peterson Museum as we had a panel discussion with all the early members. There's the current logo of the club, or close to it. Mm-hmm. And there's the picture of Tommy Ivo's famous tea bucket with the members sitting on it. That's at Pomona. They were watching the races, and that car was actually racing that day.
Is that right?
But you can see the Road Kings in style. Now, this car, he still owns this car. That's the station wagon of Kenny Safford. Not the station wagon, the El Camino of Kenny Safford.
Oh, okay.
And he still owns that car, and I'm not sure whose car it's pushing, but you see Kenny at Bowling Green. He'll be there, and also back at the Hot Rod reunion. It's another member in a multi-engine car. I'm not sure if that's Ivo or not.
Like Ivo.
Kind of does, but that could have been his multi. That's a twin Buick car.
Yeah.
Bob Morabas, a.k.a. Floyd Lippincott Jr., drove the freight train, the twin Chevy-powered, fastest, most consistent top gas dragster around. There's another shot of Ivo's car and the members of the club standing on it. This car was, they say it was the basis of model cars. The Cedarquist brothers, they dominated the West Coast in the altered ranks and are one of the NHRA record holders and people that made the history in the day. Here's the Road Kings Car Club car.
Oh, look at that.
You got to look at this. Is 1956.
It looks like
56, 57 with an Oldsmobile pushing it back at the time.
Wow, that is some crazy design, man.
But that was that state-of-the-art slingshot dragster. That was probably one of the cars built by Fuller, Ken Fuller. Don Perdome, the Greer Black and Perdome dragster, and it is in its glory, and that looks like Santa Ana, I think. It looks like a thing. Now, here is Don's funny car and transporter. He's restored it and Tom McEwen's car, the Hot Wheels cars, and they're doing a movie about that right now. They're filming it here in Southern California, and Don and Tom on set with these cars, and they've restored them to perfection. And we are going to be hopefully have that at one of the car shows.
I know, man. Yeah. You know what? There's more photos to come. I know. We've got to, pay a few bills around here at Speed Scene Live. That's always important. Sponsorship after all, as Lucky was talking about earlier on the show. So we're going to be right back with more right here at Speed Scene Live.
Hi, I'm Bobby Boogaloo Schwartz, and when I'm not winning here at Industry Speedway, I'm watching Speed Scene Live.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you the best bite for the buck. You've paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. Call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you, slicks or DOT. M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online. Mention the Speed Scene and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal service, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. mandhtires.com.
Everyone in the armed forces that has served to defend our great country and our freedom, all of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you.
The best bracket racing teams from across the country, along with exhibition runs and the Quick 16 Series, are coming to the SRCA Drag Strip west of Great Bend. This Friday and Saturday, cars and dragsters will burn down the quarter-mile track, reaching speeds of 200 miles per hour. Gates open at 6 Friday and 9 a.m. on Saturday. Admission is $5 Friday and $10 on Saturday. Visit srcadragstrip.com for more information. The SRCA Drag Strip Speed Scene Live Nationals in Great Bend. Be there.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV with your hosts, Diana-Mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, the Off-Road Report with Bryant Layton, and the Great American Auto Scene with Bob Beck.
Wow, that Great American Auto Scene is taking center stage today, of course, with Don in studio, with the Burbank Road Kings.
And we took the advantage of Scott being out.
That's right. Yes, and as well, of course, Diana-Mite is out tonight on assignment as well. Hey, you know what? Diana-Mite's usually the one that does the drawings here, but
You have got it now.
I've got names. We announced earlier in the show, that's right, that we were going to have a couple of winners for that. Each person gets a pair of M&H tires of your choice.
Oh,
I believe that's how that works. So, man, you could score.
So what are you going to put yours on, Bruce?
You know what? Right now I'm signaling the... right now. Right now I'm signaling... I'm signaling our... he just walked in, and we have to get this done. It's our union timpani player, and he's on really short hours today.
Okay.
There we go. The winner of the first pair of M&H tires is... Now, remember, these are Fote handles, Fote names from the Fote. Insane RPMs. INSANE RPMS. Insane RPMs.
I hope he's watching tonight.
I know, me too. So, you, sir, or ma'am, have just won a pair of M&H tires. Okay, signal the...
Insane RPM.
That's right.
Yes.
Our union timpani player. This is his last gig of the night. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the other winner. Yes. 2 M&H tires go to this person. Boosted CRX. That's BOOSTD CRX. X. You've just won a pair of M&H tires.
So he's got a turbocharged Honda.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Which probably doesn't have quite the horsepower that this baby does.
But he probably runs pretty quick, too. Yeah, that's a Greer Black and Perdome car next to the Crispin car at the California Hot Rod Reunion as they started the Cackle Fest. There's a picture of Don and Don. That's Don Baldessaroni behind the microphone, his normal place. He says he's not nervous at doing this. And now here is the shot of Jimmy Miles, the Magic Muffler car, and if you look closely behind the word Jimmy Miles, is the crankshaft still spinning, and Jimmy is looking down at it. This
he really is.
He saw there was no floor in those cars. You didn't need a floor. What do you need a floor for? And he was looking at that thing. They picked the crank up, and according to Jimmy, they cleaned it off and reused it.
What?
Yep.
Well, I
gotta
guess
remember, there's low buck guys.
Well, and it might have scuffed the weights, I guess, a little bit, but
yeah, clearanced it a bit.
Wow.
But, I mean, you can see the flywheel on the back, and the rods are still connected, and this is considered one of the most famous photographs in all of drag racing today. And, Bruce, we are just about out of time.
I know, man, and you know what? There's so much more to go on this show,
more.
so what we're going to have to do is push it off until the next show. That's about all there is to do left. Hey, is there any more shots of this? I want to see if there's anything more in the Great Burbank Road Kings archives here. Oh, hey, there we go. One last shot of Tommy.
Ivo.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, Bob, good to see you in the studio again, man.
Nice seeing you back again.
Let me see if I can do this Don Baldessaroni.
There you got it. You got it.
You know, so you brought in, I think, Bob, this was last year sometime. Can't remember the first name. Matajazic?
Yep, John Matajazic.
The entire show, I didn't get his name right.
Nope, yeah, he's the my co-announcer at the California Hot Rod Reunion and the March Meet up at Bakersfield.
I know, and it took me, I think even at the end of the show, I didn't have that. So I'm one up with Don. But Don, good to meet you tonight, man.
Nice meeting you, Bruce.
Wow, some great memories there. And as well, you know, a great car show. Tell us once more what's going on this Sunday.
Well, this Sunday, Johnny Carson Park, we're going to have a Cackle Fest. We have 10 top fuel cars going to be there.
Hundreds of hot rods.
Down. And
Hundreds
you might
of
even see Jimmy Miles there.
Don Perdome, Tommy Ivo.
Well,
they may all show up now. I also want to thank American Pin for the perfect light pin that I give out every Thursday night at Irwindale Drag Strip for someone cutting a perfect reaction time.
Are you aware of anyone who's wired those up so that it actually lights up like a Christmas tree?
I have one that NHRA did, yes.
We can do it.
And he can do it, too.
My wife is...
His wife is American Pin.
Is American Pin Company.
Oh, you've got connections, Don.
He does. He has connections sometimes. Otherwise, she sends him out to the office and stay there.
Yeah.
They don't have a doghouse.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, by the way, who can we thank for all those great photos tonight?
Great photos from Sue Baldessaroni, the Road Kings Archives.
Oh, man, good job. Well, Don, good luck on the car show this Sunday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And, Bob, good to see you tonight, man.
Nice seeing you, Bruce. We'll see you next week, and we're going to be talking a lot more gas and dragsters and more.
You know, and, of course, Lucky is going to still be on the road with the Speed Scene Live Nationals coming up. I'm Bruce Parker. Thanks so much for joining us for our altered host edition of the show tonight.
Altered States.
Yeah, Altered States, indeed. Now, in case you missed any of tonight's show, it's all coming up next again in the form of the encore presentation. Hope you have a great week. We're going to be back next Tuesday right here at Speed Scene Live.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, and theFote.com.